taking what they're giving because I'm working for a living.
This is the Check a Pro radio show, sponsored by checkapro.com. To find pre-qualified local service providers, click on checkapro.com. Here's your host, the man with a hard hat and tool belt, Jim Klauck.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to my show, the Check a Pro radio show. It is so great to have you here each and every week. By the way, if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out to me. My email address, the best way to get a hold of me, is joe@checkapro.com. That is joe@checkapro.com. All right, today, this is for anyone who owns a home. As you know, I'm a home improvement guy. Every house needs to have a roof. You just do. We're talking roofing today. My guest is Carlos, and he is from Sugar Roofing. You may have seen him before on television, seen his ads. He's all over the place, and he has decided to become an expert here on my radio program. I love having pre-qualified home service providers on the show. We've checked him out, checked his insurance. Very important that you check insurance, everybody. Check insurance licenses and references. If you've had problems with your roof, if you don't know you have a problem with your roof, but you think you may, maybe you've recently purchased a home, the inspector said, hey, you know, the roof, I'm passing it now, but I'd have it looked at by a professional. Carlos and his team will come out absolutely free and take a look at your roof. They have like science behind this. They don't just go up there and take a look at it and jump off. In a moment, Carlos is going to tell us how he and his team do this. It's not a typical roofer type thing. I'm excited to learn more about it. Without further ado, Carlos, welcome to the show. How are you?
Oh, I'm blessed and highly favored. Happy to be here.
It's great to have you here, my friend. Roofing isn't all that sexy. I mean, sometimes we get to talk about things that are a little more in depth. A roof is pretty straightforward. It's that thing on top of the house that keeps everything dry and safe. But it shouldn't be underestimated, correct? It's an important component of the home.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't want water in your house, so it is definitely very important for sure.
It's such an important piece of the home. I'm going to give out your phone number, Carlos, now, and I'm going to give it out throughout the program. If you're used to my show, and many of you have heard me here before on this radio station, I give out phone numbers a lot, and I always recommend that you put the phone number in your phone, because if you don't want to take advantage of the offers today that Carlos is bringing from Sugar Roofing, put his phone number in your phone, because when you do need him, which, by the way, you should call him out soon so he can get to know you and your roof. But if you need him in a pinch, here's his number, 281-571-3989. Put it in your phone right now under Sugar Roofing, 281-571-3989. Now, for the rest of you who are interested in learning more about how you can have a new roof, a repaired roof, a better roof, a ventilated roof, stay tuned, because we're going to talk about all things roofing today here in Houston. You know, it's interesting. You had told me, Carlos, that the average price here in Houston of a roof to replace costs around $20,000. Is that true?
Yes, sir. And it's going up every single year. It's crazy how much roofs cost these days.
A roof is expensive. They last, depending upon weather conditions and the type of product you put on the roof, 15, 20 years. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, everybody's got the what they've heard before, that 30-year shingle. Well, guess what? That 30-year shingle is never going to last 30 years here in Houston, Texas. So usually, yeah, we're seeing these roofs get replaced 13, 14, 15-year mark, which is, not as long as we like to see them last. Obviously, there's things you can do to help that lifespan go much, much longer.
No, absolutely. And we can talk about that as well. You are offering to my listeners, if you put a new roof on, you're going to give $1,000 off. So if the average price is $20,000, it's now down to $19,000. That doesn't mean if you don't have a $22,000 roof, it's that you're going to be down to $19,000. You'd be down to $21,000. But still, $1,000 off, which is awesome. Something else, though, that's really, really good. And by the way, only 10 of my listeners are going to get this today. The first 10 callers who book their inspection and get a new roof are going to get a free solar attic fan. Now, a solar attic fan, I've talked about this for years. I love solar attic fans. It's so important for the health of the attic and the roof itself. This is a $1,500 value, absolutely free, installed for free as part of the new roof. So you're really looking at $2,500 off, right? $1,500 with the fan and $1,000 off the cost of the roof.
Yeah, it's definitely quite a deal. It's all done to help prolong the lifespan of the roof, and which a lot of people don't really understand why that even means anything. Like, what is people always ask us, what is the ventilation even for? Right. So I think we definitely got to get into that.
Absolutely. And so the ventilation, I'll start off and then you can correct me since you're the expert on the roof and in the attic. I do have some experience with this. As a matter of fact, I have got a 30-watt solar attic fan on my roof that ventilates the attic space. So I will tell you, as a homeowner, I love the fact that the solar attic fan starts automatically. It knows when to come on and off. It's not using the electricity from the grid. It's using the power from the sun. It is lowering my utility bills by keeping the attic cooler, which is great. It allows my attic insulation to have to work less. Not that it's physically working, but it does keep that ambient temperature in the attic lower. When it comes to your new roof, though, you want the roof decking and the shingles to have the coolest temperature possible below the roof in the attic. And so if you put a brand new roof on and don't ventilate it properly, and there are some roofers out there, Carlos, that are horrible. They'll slap the roof on, but they're not living in the house. They don't care about the attic temperature. They don't care about the cost of utilities. And honestly, it's going to take a number of years for the roof really to start showing the age from not being ventilated properly. But if you want that roof to last 15, 20, maybe 25 years, you need to ventilate it properly.
Man, Jim, you are the expert. That's beautiful. And just to add to that, right? I mean, like you were saying, initially you won't know there's any problem, but over time, that poor ventilation is going to cut that lifespan of that roof. I mean, almost in half. Well, the thing is that a lot of people don't realize these shingles, they can take the UV rays of the sun from the exterior all day because of little granules, right? The granules you see from the sidewalk. Well, those granules, like, it stops the UV rays of the sun from penetrating through the shingles. But what we're talking about is the ventilation on the attic space. And if that attic gets too hot, it cooks the shingle from the inside out, because if you ever look underneath the shingle, it's just weak little fiberglass. So once that starts to happen, then those granules pop off from that intensity on the interior, and you start seeing those granules rain down your gutters. And that's something that we're trying to just slow down that process of that degranulation by ventilating the roof much better.
You know, that's a great point. If you don't know what kind of condition your roof is in, think about the last time you had your roof replaced. If you don't know, in other words, if you moved into the house 10 years ago and you don't remember when that roof was put on, meaning the seller of the property told you maybe, or maybe the inspector had a rough idea, well, you're in at least a decade of an old roof now. That roof may need to be replaced. Look inside your gutters or the bottom of the downspouts to see if you see a bunch of these granules. That'll tell you a lot. You shouldn't see a lot of them. Now, it is normal for them over time to come off the shingle. That's just what they do, and it's not the end of the world if you see some. You know, it's kind of like me. I've lost a lot of follicles on my head. I'm getting bald as I get older. Not the end of the world. I'm not going to die. With your shingles, though, keep an eye on it, and you can actually look at your shingle, and if you're going to get on a ladder, just be careful. Don't go all the way up. Look for a low part of the roof. Put the ladder up, and just take a look at those lower shingles. If they seem kind of spotty and old, if they're really brittle or really flimsy, or if you're missing pieces, you need to call Carlos at Sugar Roofing. Here's his number, 281-571-3989. The number, 281-571-3989. You'll come out absolutely free and inspect the roof from the inside out, correct?
Yes, sir. All up in the attic and on the roof. And I mean, I think one thing that we're in a trust recession, right? People can show you an image of something which might not even be of your roof, but we take it a step and above and beyond by doing something called a digital analysis. So we'll take the homeowner up on the roof virtually. We'll show them the videos of their roof so they can see, first of all, it is their roof. Second of all, if you have any problems, here's why we're proving with our tools. Like very expensive tools like FLIR infrared thermometers, moisture meters to prove that, hey, we're not just saying random stuff. We're not just some sleazy salesman coming in. Here's what's going on. And then you can, we're like almost like a doctor, right? Like a roof doctor. Maybe we should change our name to that, honestly.
Yeah, the roof doctor. It makes sense. I have a client called Garage Door Doctor. So, the doctors are in the house, or in your case, on the house. So you inspect it from the outside, which is what a lot of people think a roofer would do, is to get on the roof. That's what we say. Get on the roof, take a look. What's going on with my roof? But you also get on the inside, and the inside could be telling. If you're looking at the roof from the inside and you see mold and mildew or wet spots, that tells you a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why. Sometimes people, when we go to their house, they're like, "You're going in the attic? Nobody else went in the attic." Hey, but yeah, it tells us a lot of stuff about ventilation and active leaks too. You gotta get in the attic for sure.
Call Carlos now, Sugar Roofing, 281-571-3989, 281-571-3989. We've got your questions coming up next at joe@checkapro.com. We'll be right back right after this on the Check a Pro Radio Show. Stand by.
Dennis Prager here. Just go to checkapro.com. You'll find names, phone numbers, affiliations, and license numbers, everything you need to feel confident about hiring a contractor and getting your project done right. Checkapro.com.
Houston homeowners, listen up. If your roof is aging, leaking, or storm damaged, this is your moment to save big with Sugar Roofing. A premium roof replacement can average around $20,000. But today only, Carlos at Sugar Roofing is knocking off $1,000 immediately just for calling during this broadcast. But wait, it gets even better. The first 10 callers who book an inspection and move forward with a new roof get a free solar attic fan. It's a $1,500 value. Now that fan pulls brutal Texas heat out of your attic, lowers AC strain, and helps your new roof last longer. Only 10 solar fans available. When the 11th call comes in, the bonus is gone. Call now, 281-571-3989. That's 281-571-3989. Remember the name Sugar Roofing. To protect your home, save thousands, and beat the heat today.
I'm taking what they're giving cause I'm working for a living.
This is the Check a Pro Radio Show, sponsored by checkapro.com. To find pre-qualified local service providers, click on checkapro.com. Here's your host, the man with a hard hat and tool belt, Jim Klauck.
And welcome back to the Check a Pro Radio Show. I've been doing this here in Houston for over 20 years. I started Check a Pro, checkapro.com, in Katy, Texas, actually, and we've been expanding over the past 2 decades. It used to be called katypros.com. It actually still is. And Sugarland Pros and the Woodlands Pros. We decided, though, to go with checkapro.com. You can find pre-qualified contractors such as Sugar Roofing. You just go to checkapro.com and you click on roofers, and you will find them there. If you need an HVAC company, electrician, plumber, anything that you need, you can find them at checkapro.com. We've pre-qualified them. And on my show today, I've got Carlos from Sugar Roofing, and we are talking about, obviously, your roof, the inside and the outside. And we were talking before the break about what could be going on the inside of the roof, which is the attic side, Carlos. And a lot of roofers don't even go inside the house to see what's going on. They do everything from the outside. And I like the fact that you guys go inside.
The inside is that X-ray of the roof, right? A doctor doesn't just go up and just touch your bone, right? You got to go inside to see what's going on with the X-ray. So a lot of times we find things that we would never even know were occurring on top of the roof anyways. But as far as like the ventilation, that is so important to see. Hey, here's some hot spots. We're seeing this on our FLIR infrared camera. And to really get this, the current roof is, right? The current roof to last as long as possible. There's just some minor tweaks that we need to do. So things like ventilation, things like active leaks, things like, I mean, there's a bunch of different things that we got to get into the attic for to check that out.
Yeah, and something else you guys are responsible for when you put a new roof on is like flashing, boots, vents, these things that all these penetrations, right? We hear the word penetration. That's pretty much anything going through the roof, correct?
Yes, sir. And that's really the number one way a roof's gonna fail. It's usually those roof jacks, right? Pipe jacks, whatever you want to call it. Those are the top 10 reasons we're up there in the first place.
Yeah, they're anything that penetrates through the roof is going to be a problem or potential problem for leaking. So if you didn't have anything coming through the roof, any vent pipe, for instance, a vent pipe could be anything from a vent pipe for your plumbing, which you need, maybe a pipe for your furnace because you've got a gas furnace and water heaters and so forth. Those penetrations could leak day one when you have a new roof. Not from Sugar Roofing, but from an average roofer, right? It could happen. But these need to be sealed up correctly. And whenever you cut a hole in the roof, because that's what you have to do to put these items through, these, what they call penetrations, these jacks and so forth, there's a problem with that. So you have to make sure that they are sealed well. Same thing with a solar attic fan. A lot of people don't understand the solar attic fan. They're like, you're going to cut a hole in my roof? It's going to leak. Can you explain why, when you put something like a solar attic fan in, it doesn't leak? Or actually any vent, when you think like a ridge vent, you would think, I can see the sun. It's going to leak. Tell me why it doesn't leak.
Well, I mean, particularly with these solar fans, first of all, the solar fans and all the penetrations to your roof, the average person, they might just put shingles and maybe some regular felt paper around it. But what we do is we put membranes. We wrap every single penetration around your roof, around your chimneys, around your vents. We wrap it with this membrane that adheres and sticks down to the decking. It's a self-sealing membrane called ice and water shield. So even when we nail into those pipes, even when we nail into it, that membrane self-seals around the nails that go through. And God forbid, your vents or whatever penetration were to fail, the cover on top that's physically visible from the exterior, if those were to fail, that membrane's always there to prevent the water from actually coming on the inside. So those are things like that we check on that attic inspection as well.
Call now to get $1,000 off a new roof. Also, $1,500 off a solar attic fan is free. I say $1,500 off because it's going to be free. So it's like a $2,500 value. You're going to get $1,000 off your new roof and a solar attic fan worth $1,500. And you need good ventilation. I strongly recommend a solar attic fan. I have one on my home as well. To give you an idea, it's as low as $199 a month to get a new roof. My gosh, $199. It costs a lot more to get a swimming pool. Your car payment's way more than that, and certainly your mortgage, your home payment's more than that. Call Carlos and his team at Sugar Roofing right now. Only 7 of these left. Jerry, my producer, manages all of the phone calls, and he says there's only 7 left. So 3 of my listeners have taken us up on the deal. 281-571-3989. Again, the number at Sugar Roofing, 281-571-3989. When I have Carlos on the program, the phone lines go crazy. If you can't get through, don't worry. Leave a message, and Carlos and his team will get back to you ASAP. 281-571-3989. This is a no-obligation phone call. There is no charge for Carlos to come out to your home. He's not charging anything for that. He wants to get to know you. He wants to see your roof. He can't really quote you over the phone. He needs to come out and take a look at the exterior and the interior. He'll probably be able to tell you a lot about your home, especially your attic space and your roof, just by inspecting it absolutely free. If you need a repair, he'll recommend it. If you need a new roof, he'll recommend it. And if you have a credit score of at least 600 or more, well, you should be in pretty good shape, as low as $199 a month. 281-571-3989. Carlos, a question's come in from Tom and Katie. I'm going to ask it on his behalf. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So Tom asks, I have 2 layers of shingles on my roof right now. Can Sugar Roofing just add a 3rd layer to save me some money, or do I have to do a full tear-off to get the 60-month zero-interest deal? Good question.
Oh no. We got to get down to the deck, make sure there's no underlying issues to put on that roof properly so where it lasts as long as possible. So no, you don't want to be putting 3 layers. I mean, definitely don't want to be doing 2, but anything more than 2, no.
I agree. I had a new roof put on a while back. I only had 1 layer, but they stripped everything off down to the decking. I don't remember if they had to replace any. Oh, actually, they did do some replacement because we changed some of the vents. And so, yeah, so they did some of that. And then they sealed it up and put on the new shingles. And, well, it's great. And it's always nice to have a new roof. I'll tell you one thing I love about having a new roof, Carlos, and that is peace of mind. When you're unsure about your roof and you've had leaks and you don't know how bad it's going to be the next time we have a storm or just rain, it's hard to sleep at night. But when you have that new roof, it's perfect, because if it's not, you're coming back out to tweak it, aren't you?
Yes, sir. I mean, it's that workmanship warranty. That's so important. If you're going to spend $20,000 on a roof, first of all, you want to make sure that if there's any problems, that company's still going to be there honoring a warranty for as long as possible, because that's what you're paying money for.
Yeah, no, absolutely. One thing I love about you guys is you are locally family owned and operated. Sugar Roofing is the name of your company. Sugarroofs.com is your website. You founded it in Sugar Land, Texas.
Sugar Land, Texas. Yes, sir. I mean, we're as local as it gets, and we just care so much about that workmanship. Right? Something that really, you're kind of talking about it is, the leaks. And let's be honest, we're putting on hundreds and hundreds of roofs a year. So it doesn't take much for a little leak to happen from the most minuscule thing. With us, the main thing that we love about our company, I'm very proud of, is my dad. Right? My dad is on every single job site. He is our production manager. He gets to be the guy that, he's always worked with his hands, being in the military, being in the Marine Corps. He's always the one going out there to address any concerns that customers have. So we're very proud about the fact that we have a warranty that even when it's a standard, usually the industry standard of just 1 year, 2 year workmanship warranty, we're able to offer manufacturer-backed 10-year workmanship warranties, which is a very big deal. Very big deal.
That's huge. I do love the fact that you're family owned and operated. Personally, as a homeowner, I like to deal with the owner of a company. I know that you, Carlos, are a busy guy. You may not be able to meet everybody, but I know you do try to get out there as much as possible to the job site to meet the homeowner and to understand what's going on. But you have a qualified crew. Let's talk a little bit about your team members. You spoke about your dad a bit. You rely on having a good team. It's important to have a good team when you run a business such as yours.
Yes, sir. We're very proud of our team. I mean, from people that answer the phone calls to the installers and the crew, usually the guys that I spend most of my time with are the guys that initially go out to our customers' houses for that first inspection. And the thing is, Jim, that here in Texas, there's a license to be an HVAC, there's a license to be an electrician, but there's absolutely no official state license in Texas to be a roofer. Here at Sugar Roofing, we go above and beyond, and we put over 250 hours in the classroom with our inspectors. Like, that's all I do. I spend all my time, if I'm not, with you here, Jim, or in the TV studio shooting a TV commercial, I'm usually in the training room, making sure that our guys, we're sharpening up on our skills, training like the other states that require a license. So we actually know what we're talking about, especially on that initial appointment with the customer, so we can answer any questions they have and diagnose issues if they actually have them. But yeah, my team, we're all across the board. Obviously, I'm a little biased. I'm very proud of our team, but you want that inspector, that initial inspector, to to really know what they're talking about too.
Yeah, they need to know what they're talking about. They need to be personable and customer friendly. Call Carlos and his team right now at Sugar Roofing, 281-571-3989. Why are you calling? You're calling because you want to have your roof inspected, the outside and the inside. There is no cost to this. This is absolutely free. There's a no obligation phone call. The average roof here in Houston's $20,000. It's a pretty big investment, but it is protecting your largest investment, which is your home from the top down. It's important. It's not just the outside of the house, it's also the inside, the attic, where it's very important as well. So that's why Carlos goes into the attic to take a look. Call now. As little as $199 a month is crazy. 281-571-3989. Again, call now. 281-571-3989. Get a free solar attic fan worth $1,500 and $1,000 off the cost of your roof with a fantastic pre-qualified Checka Pro company. That's right, Sugar Roofing. We'll be right back right after this right here on the Checka Pro Radio Show with more. Stand by.
This is Sebastian Gorka. If you're looking for a quality home service provider, log on to checkapro.com. That's checkapro.com.
Houston homeowners, listen up. If your roof is aging, leaking, or storm damaged, this is your moment to save big with Sugar Roofing. A premium roof replacement can average around $20,000. But today only, Carlos at Sugar Roofing is knocking off $1,000 immediately just for calling during this broadcast. But wait, it gets even better. The first 10 callers who book an inspection and move forward with a new roof get a free solar attic fan. It's a $1,500 value. Now that fan pulls brutal Texas heat out of your attic, lowers AC strain, and helps your new roof last longer. Only 10 solar fans available. When the 11th call comes in, the bonus is gone. Call now, 281-571-3989. That's 281-571-3989. Remember the name Sugar Roofing to protect your home, save thousands, and beat the heat today.
This is the Checka Pro Radio Show, sponsored by CheckaPro.com. What are the latest services, products, and techniques? The pros check in here. Here's your host, the man with a hard hat and tool belt, Jim Klauck.
And thank you very much. It is so great to be here on the Checka Pro Radio Show here in Houston, helping out my friends, my neighbors, my community. Been doing this for over 20 years. Oh, Jerry, my producer, he's been with me. He's reminding me he's been with me for the 20 years as well. Thank you, Jerry. And Jerry tells me there's only 5 of these offers left. That's right. Here's the phone number, 281-571-3989. That is the phone number to get an absolutely free, no obligation roof inspection. You may not be so sure if your roof has a problem. You notice some spots on your sheetrock ceiling inside. You've noticed some more obvious things like shingles that are on the ground or in the gutter. That's a problem. Yeah, if you have loose shingles or shingles that are off of your roof that have come off, you definitely need to call Carlos at Sugar Roofing at 281-571-3989. If you need a new roof, $1,000 off today only here on the show. Also, you'll get a free solar attic fan, $1,500 value. So that's $2,500 off. Only 10 of my listeners are going to get this today. Half are gone. Jerry tells me there are 5. Call now. Like I said, there's no reason not to call because there's nothing to buy. This isn't a sales pitch. In the beginning, Carlos and his team will come out and take a look at your roof from the outside and from the inside through the attic. 281-571-3989. Carlos, another question has come in from Elliot in the Heights. You ready for this?
Yes, sir.
All right. I like the way he thinks ahead. He says, with hurricane season always looming, I'm worried about wind. What's the difference between a standard off-the-shelf shingle and what Sugar Roofing installs when it comes to high wind ratings? So there are a difference in shingles, right?
Yes, sir. I mean, there's 100 different ways you can put a roof together. Really, when it comes to wind, we really love. Well, the manufacturer we actually use is Owens Corning, right? And their Duration Storm shingle, it's got a 135-mile-an-hour wind rating. So at that point, obviously there's shingles that range from 65-mile-an-hour wind rating to 135. At that point, I mean, you're pretty much set, because if there's anything more than 135-mile-an-hour winds, man, there's probably no house left at that point. So that's about as high as it can really get. And we're really proud to offer, products that can range that high in wind rating.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, Elliot, that is your answer. I've got a question. I don't think we've talked about this, Carlos, and that is the warranty on a shingle from Owens Corning and the warranty that Sugar Roofing offers. If I were to get a new roof and you put on some nice new Owens Corning shingles, and a month later I have a problem, I take it you and the company cover me? And then how about years later? How does that work?
Yeah, so there's typically 2 warranties when it comes to a shingle roofing system, right? Particularly, there's a manufacturer warranty against defects, and that covers if the shingle was made wrong in the factory. And really and truly, that's very, very rare. Odds of that happening are very rare, but the manufacturer, Owens Corning, does back up their product to where if there's a problem, we'll come out there, they'll pay for the labor and material to get replaced. But that's very, very rare. When customers ask us, everything sounds good, but the question I should really be asking is, what is your workmanship warranty? So what happens if you put the roof on and you did a bad job from your installation and it leaks? Well, again, usually industry standard like I was saying, it's just 1 year, 2 year. After that, you're on your own. But because Owens Corning, we're installing their roofs to their specifications, and they back up our installers, we're able to offer their 10-year manufacturer-backed workmanship warranty, which you get an official letter from the manufacturer once we're done saying that, hey, this roof, you're set for 10 years, backed up by Owens Corning, who, I mean, everybody's heard of Owens Corning. Corningware, they're a multi-billion-dollar company. 99% of America already has their products in their home. So that's a big deal.
Yeah, from Corning, New York. Did you know that? That's where they're from originally, the Corning Company. Call now, 281-571-3989. That is the number at Sugar Roofing. Carlos most likely won't be answering the phone, but every once in a while, I understand, if you need to talk to him, he could make himself available. He's a busy guy. He's on TV and he's on the radio. Kind of a local celebrity. 281-571-3989. He wants to be the guy everyone thinks of here in Houston as the roofer, the kind of, as we discussed before, like the doctor of the roof, right? The guy who can diagnose what the problem is and have a good solution. So if you have an illness, you go to the doctor, and the doctor diagnoses you and then either refers you somewhere else or prescribes something and gets you fixed. Well, that's what Carlos wants to do. Don't worry if your roof doesn't have to be replaced and you don't want to have it replaced. Have Carlos come out and take a look anyway to see what repairs can be done. Because in some cases, it's a penetration that's leaking, and that's something that Carlos and his team can repair for sure, which will get you by until when you do need a roof. And really what Carlos wants to do, he's in this for the long run. He knows eventually your roof's going to fail. They all do. They're not going to last more than 15, 20 some odd years. They're just not. So he's playing the long game, and he hopes that you will become a customer, even if it's for a repair. And then ultimately, he will be able to put that roof on that you deserve. Save $1,000 and get a free $1,500 solar attic fan. Call today, 281-571-3989. Jerry, my producer, I love Jerry. He makes sure the show, makes it to the air the way he does. It's awesome. He's terrific. He says there's only 3 left. 3. No obligation phone call. There's nothing to pay for. Put your credit card away. Put your checkbook aside. You don't have to worry about that right now. Just have Carlos and his team come out. 281-571-3989. If you want to learn more about Sugar Roofing, it's simple. You can go to Sugar Roofs, SugarRoofs.com. Go to Google and just type in Sugar Roofs or Sugar Roofing. They're going to show up at the top. You can learn all about them. They have great reviews. I know you guys strive to be the best you can be. Customer service is number one, isn't it?
It has to be. It has to be. I mean, it's Sugar Roofing. It might as well be Elizondo Roofing, which is our last name. That's how we really try to, treat every customer. And everybody says that, but it's a reputation. And obviously people have seen us on TV and on Google reviews and, with you, Jim. But at the end of the day, we love our referrals, and that's really how we're able to grow our business and help more people. So that's the level that we try to help everybody with.
Yeah. And one thing I love about you being on the radio and being on television and being out there is that you aren't afraid to be found. There are a lot of people in your business, in roofing, that are bad people. They just are. I mean, that's why I started my business in 2005, checkapro.com, to help homeowners be safe, to shelter them from bad contractors. The roofing business actually has a lot of bad actors in it. Like you said, Carlos, you do not need a license in the state of Texas to be a roofer. Anybody can be a roofer. Literally, anybody can be a roofer. You don't even need to have insurance. You don't need anything. It's crazy. It's the wild, wild west. Texas is one of those states where there's only a handful of home service categories that require it. HVAC does, plumbing does, electrical does, pest control does, irrigation does. There's only like 5, 6, 7. The rest of them, like a general contractor, kitchen remodeler guy, nope. Same thing as a roofer. Anyone can do it. And there's a lot of dangers. If you have one of these roofing companies that aren't really qualified, they don't have insurance and they don't have the training, especially the insurance. If they fall off your roof, that's your problem as the homeowner, right?
Yeah. I mean, let's say a nail goes into your AC unit, right? A nail goes into your AC unit, and I don't know, an AC unit, I'm not an AC guy, but that's 10 grand, 8, 9, 10 grand. And a lot of times it's one small action that puts somebody out of business. And even, legally in Texas, if somebody's on your property as a homeowner, you'd be held liable for that. So a lot of times we happen, like I said, you don't even need insurance. And the cool thing is somebody can go get their, pay for their first month of insurance, get their little certificate of insurance, a COI. But if you stop making those payments, nobody's going to come in and take away that certificate of insurance. So having somebody that's, fully insured, that's so, so important. Having millions of dollars of protection, you got to make sure you're taken care of with that.
Yeah. Now, if you'll recall, before I invited you onto my radio program, I asked you for your certificate of insurance and you had it sent over. And that's a prerequisite to be part of CheckaPro. If you said we don't have insurance, I would say I'm not really sure how you operate. That's really irresponsible. And no, you cannot be on my radio program. The music just started, which means we're going to another break and we're coming up to the last segment. Another question has come in that I will have Carlos answer from Samantha in Richmond. That's coming up next right here on the CheckaPro Radio Show. Stand by.
If you want to get a home improvement project done, but you don't know who to call, I can help. This is Dave Ramsey. Don't call. Log on to checkapro.com.
Houston homeowners, listen up. If your roof is aging, leaking, or storm damaged, this is your moment to save big with Sugar Roofing. A premium roof replacement can average around $20,000. But today only, Carlos at Sugar Roofing is knocking off $1,000 immediately just for calling during this broadcast. But wait, it gets even better. The first 10 callers who book an inspection and move forward with the new roof get a free solar attic fan. It's a $1,500 value. Now, that fan pulls brutal Texas heat out of your attic, lowers AC strain, and helps your new roof last longer. Only 10 solar fans available. When the 11th call comes in, the bonus is gone. Call now, 281-571-3989. That's 281-571-3989. Remember the name Sugar Roofing to protect your home, save thousands, and beat the heat today.
Do you have a question for Check-A-Pro Joe? Email Joe at checkapro.com. This is the Check-A-Pro Radio Show.
Call now, 281-571-3989. Only 2 of these offers left as we enter the 4th quarter of the show. This is the last segment of the Check-A-Pro Radio Show today. 281-571-3989, $1,000 off your roof, which is great. But I'll tell you what I really love more than the $1,000 is the $1,500 value in the solar attic fan. You need proper ventilation. When it comes to a roof, it's not just the shingles, it's a system, and you need proper ventilation. A lot of roofers don't really care, and a lot of them aren't educated enough. And I've asked Carlos from Sugar Roofing to join me here on the program today. He's been kind enough to join me. He's a pre-qualified Check-A-Pro home service professional at checkapro.com, and we're talking about your roof. And Carlos, it is a system. It's not just boards with asphalt shingles on it. It has to breathe properly. If not, the roof isn't going to be able to do its job long term.
Absolutely, absolutely, Jim. I mean, you need that 1-to-1 ratio of ventilation from intake along the soffits to the exhaust at the top, right? Because essentially, what you tend to see is it's almost like you're constricting the flow of the air escaping out of the attic at the top. So just imagine like a straw, right? Without the proper ventilation in the attic, you might be most homes have some decent amounts of intake along the edge of the roof. But without the proper ventilation at the top, the exhaust, it's like sucking a straw by pinching it at the very top. So it makes it very, very hard for that roof to breathe. And that's why, that's why a lot of these roofs don't get anywhere near their full life expectancy. So one of the ways that we definitely try to, help prolong the lifespan of these roofs is making sure that we have an active ventilation system in the form of those solar attic fans with the fact that they're actually sucking out the heat like a vacuum, as opposed to the typical ridge vent or the typical box vent that doesn't have a motor or anything sucking out that heat.
Yeah, those are called static versus active, right? So static has been around for a long time. There's one kind of in between, which is what people call the whirlybirds, and those are turbines. They spin, which aren't bad, but they rust and they're noisy, and you need some type of movement. The cool thing, no pun intended, the cool thing about a solar attic fan is as long as there's any sun at all during the day, they generally will just crank up. And what's nice is they turn off at night, but you don't need it at night because we're not getting the heat beating down on our roof like we do all day, especially in the summertime. And you need so many exchanges. But Carlos, it's true. You don't just need that roof vent. You need the soffit vent, because if you don't have any intake, it's hard to suck out the heat, right? So it is a big system. It's a process.
Yes, sir. It all works together, right? Like I said, it's not just shingles slapped up there. It's about, getting a good roof that's going to last you the full lifespan and get your money's worth. Because, I mean, most roofers would love to replace your roof every, 10 years, 12 years. But the right thing to do, the best thing for the customer, is to get this roof to last as long as possible, especially the fact that the prices of roofs are getting ridiculous. I mean, in the past 10 years, the average cost of a roof has doubled. So another 10 years, oof, ouch.
Yeah, the sooner the better. And the sooner you get a roof from Sugar Roofing, the better too, because it's going to last longer because of the care of the installation and of the ventilation. I've been talking about attic ventilation for years here on my radio show, and I really, really believe it. I have a solar attic fan on my roof And I really, really believe it's helpful. Short term, it's saving me money on my electric bill. Long term, it's saving wear and tear on my HVAC system, my air conditioning system specifically, and on my roof and other components of my house. Call now. It's not too late. There's about one of these left, according to Jerry. Call 281-571-3989. The number, again, to save $1,000 on a roof and to get a free solar attic fan worth $1,500. You've got to call Sugar Roofing right now at 281-571-3989. Carlos, a question has come in from Samantha in Richmond. Carlos, you said no interest and no payments for 12 months. Is there a catch? Do I need perfect credit score to qualify for that nothing due for a year deal?
No, you definitely don't need a perfect credit score. That's a good question. But that's a really good payment option. We've got, hundreds of good payment options, but we typically ask for, about a 600 credit score and above, right? Underneath that, it's a little harder to make that happen. But yeah, that 12 months and no interest and no payment is an awesome deal, which essentially it's, we take care of the roof or the repair, whatever needs to get done for the homeowner. At this point in time, we go ahead and take care of that, and we'll give you a whole year without any interest to write us a check for something like that. Or even better, we'll take care of the problem. We'll give you a whole year to not make any payments and then set you up on a super low monthly payment.
Nothing out of pocket up front.
No money down.
Low payment. I mean, I have a figure here, maybe $199 a month. It's going to vary depending upon, the product you put on the roof, how big your roof is, and so forth. Carlos gave us a rough idea. On average, it's $20,000. It depends on the size of your house, but in Houston, on average. So that gives you an idea. Mine was, a little more than that a few years ago, but my house is bigger than the average house. So that makes sense. More roof you have, the more it is. And honestly, if you have a 2-level home, same square footage as a single level home is going to be less on the 2-story. There's less roof, right? So if you have a 1,200 square foot house, it's 1 story, you have all that space, that 1,200 foot space under that roof. But if you have a 1,200 square foot house that's 2 stories, we got like 600 square feet under that roof. Well, it all depends. Call now, 281-571-3989. The roof is such an important piece of the home. It should not be overlooked. It's what's going to keep the rest of your house dry and safe. I say that because something else that Carlos will be looking at when he goes into the attic, which he can't see on the outside, is the structure. Is something failing maybe? You don't want the roof to start to cave in a bit. You do see that, don't you? That sometimes the roof structure, even if it's a new house, may not be strong enough.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen definitely some cracked rafters, framing. It's as crazy as that, which, I mean, that's worst case scenario. But a lot of times when you're walking around your house, you might see some little dips in the decking. A lot of times it's something as simple as you just got to nail in that decking properly, which can be done at the time of replacement or the time of repair, which we do both. It's not always replacement. It's whatever, makes sense for the customer.
Yeah. And if there is a 2x4, 2x6, 2x8, whatever it is in the attic that is cracked, it's not a big deal. That's kind of easy to fix, but it needs to be fixed. But it really is not that difficult at all. That's something that Carlos and his team will take care of when they replace your roof. I'm telling you, 2 things that I had done on my property in the past decade that gave me a whole bunch of peace of mind. My new air conditioning system, a 3-ton and a 5-ton. I'm telling you, that was great. Knowing that I can keep my house cool in the heat of the summer with a brand new system under warranty, that's great. Also, my new roof. When I had my new roof put on, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got 15, 20 years of not worrying about anything for the most part. And that's great. I know what it's like when you're not sure if your HVAC system's going to crap out on you or if your roof is going to fail. And when we get these storms, we've had all kinds of storms. We get these wind events. Straight winds sometimes will go right through your neighborhood, not touch your neighbor's house, but like destroy yours. It's crazy. The odd tornado, kind of rare around here, but it happens. And certainly the storms off the Gulf. My goodness. 281-571-3989. 281-571-3989. That is the phone number. Jerry tells me we're just about out. So just call. Just get this done. I will guarantee, and so will Carlos, anyone who calls before the end of the show will get this deal because the show is drawing to a close. Carlos wants to come out and help you guys out. He wants to be a neighbor. He wants to be a friend. He wants to be a consultant. He's not charging you anything. It's no obligation. 281-571-3989. Carlos, is there anything that we've missed today on the program you want to get across to the listeners?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, when it comes to a roof, look, we're talking about replacement. We're talking about replacement, the big ticket thing. Well, a lot of times we have to tell a customer on a leak, a simple leak, we have to replace your roof. And that's worst case scenario, only because the ventilation on the roof was so bad. The roof has aged at a very faster rate. And now this little leak, you can't repair it without creating a cascading effect of damage all over that area. So now to fix that little leak, you have to replace the full roof. And it could have all been stopped from a free inspection to do a small ticket repair. So that's why we love to offer those repairs. It's not always a replacement. Just get us out for a free inspection.
You do sound like a doctor. So a dentist will say, if you come in every 6 months for a cleaning, you're less likely to have to get a root canal. So the root canal is like getting the entire roof replaced, right? Come in, we'll inspect your teeth, we'll clean them, we'll put a new filling in before the root canal. Hey, this has been awesome. Once again, the phone number for Carlos at Sugar Roofing, 281-571-3989. Thanks, Carlos. I appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to the Checka Pro Radio Show. For more information on how to select the right contractor for your project, visit our website, checkaproradioshow.com. Join us again next week at the same time.
Houston homeowners, listen up. If your roof is aging, leaking, or storm damaged, this is your moment to save big with Sugar Roofing. A premium roof replacement can average around $20,000. But today only, Carlos at Sugar Roofing is knocking off $1,000 immediately just for calling during this broadcast. But wait, it gets even better. The first 10 callers who book an inspection and move forward with a new roof get a free solar attic fan. It's a $1,500 value. Now that fan pulls brutal Texas heat out of your attic, lowers AC strain, and helps your new roof last longer. Only 10 solar fans available. When the 11th call comes in, the bonus is gone. Call now, 281-571-3989. That's 281-571-3989. Remember the name Sugar Roofing to protect your home, save thousands, and beat the heat today.
I'm taking what they give.